Hello everybody and welcome to the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. My name is Jason C. and if you're a subscriber, thanks so much for watching. If you're new to the channel looking for the latest in whiskey and bourbon news and reviews, you have found the right place, so hit the subscribe button below and hit that bell notification so you know when I'm releasing a new video. Back in early July of 2019, Woodford Reserve announced their upcoming release of their new 4-grain wheat whiskey. With this release, Woodford Reserve now has all 4 of the permitted styles of American straight whiskeys: Woodford Reserve Bourbon, Woodford Reserve Rye, Woodford Reserve Malt, and now this, the Woodford Reserve Wheat, which is today's review on the Mash and Drum. In 1935, the federal government permitted 4 styles of American straight whiskey, and no one has made all 4 until now. Just as the mash bill for bourbon whiskey must be at least 51% corn, a rye must be 51% rye, a wheat whiskey must be at least 51% wheat. This new wheat whiskey was created by master distiller Chris Morris, who says this proprietary expression of Woodford Reserve wheat is designed to deliver a unique fruit-forward flavor profile. It is, like the other members of the Woodford Reserve brands, complex, approachable, and will be great in cocktails. Wheat whiskey isn't generally easy to find. While there are some craft distillers producing it, the only mainstream wheat whiskey that's widely available is Bernheim, made by Heaven Hill. Now, the Woodford Reserve Wheat Whiskey has a 4-grain mash bill of 52% wheat, 20% malted barley, 20% corn, and 8% rye. This is bottled at 90.4 proof and is available now for about $35. All right, everybody, so here is a close-up of the wheat whiskey. Like I said, this is a mash bill of 52% wheat, 20% malted barley, 20% corn, and 8% rye. Bottled at 90.4 proof and available for about $35. This has a new red label or maroon, whatever you want to call it. The new release, that malt whiskey that they released last year, had a blue label. So this one definitely stands out a little bit more, a little bit different, but has that classic Woodford Reserve bottle style. So let's take a quick pour and let's get into this one. I have taken a few sips of this one, as you can see, and I've been kind of impressed with it. So let's talk about it. As I mentioned, I've had a few pours of this one. Definitely more of a fan of this one so far than the malt whiskey released last year. Wasn't too crazy about that one. But let's get into the color here and see what we have. So this one has a really nice kind of a rich honey color, a little bit of an amber. Definitely coats the glass well. This is the typical Woodford Reserve 90.4 proof. Sticks to the glass pretty well. Got some good legs to it. Nice color on it. All right, let's go into the nose and see what we got. Here we go. Oh man, this has such an incredible nose. I love the nose on this whiskey. It is so fruit forward. This is like walking into a fresh market, smelling all the fresh fruits all around you. It's really a lot of that in this glass. It's really incredible, actually. Yes, has just a beautiful sweetness to it. This is just apples and pears. Some raspberries. There's some banana in here too. I definitely get a little bit of a banana flavor in some of the Brown-Forman, Old Forester, Woodford Reserve products. But the banana really, it's not as prominent as the total fruit forwardness of this. It's really beautiful on the nose. Vanilla. I mean, don't get this wrong. I mean, you do get some beautiful vanilla, brown sugar, caramel notes in here too. But the fruitiness of this whiskey on the nose just is really what kind of stands out in the beginning. Yeah, as you get deeper in the glass, you really now start to pull out some of those Woodford Reserve traits. You get like the nice brown sugars, the vanillas, the caramels that really just are pairing so well with that fruity characteristic to it. This is like taking a bunch of different fruits. You get your apples, your pears, some strawberries, some raspberries, throwing it, like getting ready for it to put in a pie. And you add some cinnamon, some vanilla, some butter to it, and just getting ready to put in the oven. That's what it really smells like in this glass. All right, enough talking how good it smells. Let's try this stuff. Here we go. Cheers. Oh, man. This is super fruity on the palate, just like the nose. There's a ton of fruit coming through. The vanillas, a little bit of a raspberry strawberry jam type aspect to it. Man. Then on the very, very back end, you start getting a little bit of a milk chocolate note on this one. It's really, really nice. All right, I'm going to go for another sip. Oh, the second sip on that one. Now the apple and the pear are starting to come more to the forefront. The apple flavors, the pear flavors. The finish, you're still getting a little bit of that chocolate note. There's a little bit more cinnamon now, kind of rounding everything out. Then on the very, very back end, that Woodford Reserve, the vanilla, the sweet oak characteristic really comes through. It's a very nice balanced whiskey. Let's go for another sip here. Cheers. Third sip, really good still. I mean, the fruitiness is still there. You still get the apple, still get the pear, the cinnamon. Now on the finish, it's becoming a little bit more of a traditional, like bourbon flavors. You start getting the vanillas and the caramels. You're still getting that little bit of a hint of chocolate, which I really, really like. And then it's finishing with that beautiful sweet oak flavor. Go for another sip here. This is really delicious. I'm really liking this one. Just the balance of it is just so easy to sip. It's not overpowering on the finish. It is only 90.4 proof, but you're getting enough on the finish to warrant like wanting to go back and sip more of this. The chocolate aspect, the apple, the pear. There's a little bit of a raw apple peel type aspect to it as well, especially lingering on the finish. It's not. I mean, sometimes that could be a little bit bitter, but it's not a bitterness. Man, the cinnamon. There's a peach in there too. I think I'm getting as well now. Let's go for one last sip. Cheers. Yeah, I think with this whiskey, I could see how this could work amazingly in cocktails, being so well balanced with the fruit forward type flavor profile to it. But also, it's got this darker side as well. You have the light side and the dark side. If like Star Wars had a whiskey, this might be it. You have the light side, which is the bright fruits and the apples and the pears, a little bit of an apple peel. Some peach flavors in there, and then as it finishes on the back end, then you start getting chocolate and the darker vanillas and the caramel and some of that sweet oak flavors. It's a really, really great balanced whiskey. Woodford to me has always been a great balance, and this one is no exception. All right, guys, so if you haven't guessed it by now, I totally recommend you going out and trying this. This is an absolute delicious wheat whiskey. I have had that Bernheim from Heaven Hill, and I like this way more than that Bernheim. This one just has way more flavor. It's a lot more balanced. It gives you kind of the best of both worlds with a ton of fruitiness, a little bit of chocolate, sweet oak, and the best part, it's 35 bucks. So for a $35 bottle with this much flavor, absolutely go pick it up as soon as you see it. All right, everyone. Well, thanks again for watching the Master Drum Whiskey Room for this review of the new Woodford Reserve Wheat Whiskey. Hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button below. Please hit that like button. If you haven't yet, find me on Instagram and find me on Twitter. Let me know if you've had this yet, if you've seeked it out, what you think of it. And as I always say, it is not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. So cheers, and I'll see you next time. Take care.